You are eating less than you did 5 years ago, moving more than you did 5 years ago, and your belly is harder than it has ever been. This is not a willpower problem. This is not a discipline failure. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do, under the wrong signals. That hard belly is not normal fat. Normal fat is soft. Normal fat sits quietly under the skin and waits. What you are carrying is different. It is wrapped around your liver, your pancreas, your intestines. It has its own blood supply. It pumps inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream 24 hours a day. It is not storage. It is an occupied base camp inside your body, running operations against you. And here's the part nobody tells you. You cannot starve this tissue. When you cut calories, your body reads danger. When your body reads danger, or it locks the midsection tighter, you are fighting biology with hunger. Biology wins every time. The fix is not to eat less. The fix is to eat 5 specific compounds that disarm this tissue layer by layer. Each one unlocks a different door. Miss one and the others cannot do their job. And food number 5 activates the same fat-burning switch your body uses during a 16-hour fast, without you skipping a single meal. But that switch will not work unless you open the first 4 doors first. Your body is a building. Right now, that building is on fire. Visceral fat is not quiet tissue. It is inflamed tissue. Every second it sits there, it dumps a chemical called IL-6 into your blood. Think of IL-6 as a fire alarm that never stops ringing. As long as that alarm rings, your body stays in emergency mode. And in emergency mode, your body does not burn fat. It hoards it. Here's the chain. IL-6 floods your bloodstream. It reaches your muscle cells and your liver cells. It makes them deaf to insulin. Insulin rises to compensate. High insulin locks every fat cell shut. The fat cannot get out. More inflammation, more IL-6, more insulin. The loop tightens. You are not stuck because you eat too much. You are stuck because the fire keeps feeding itself. To break the loop, you have to put out the fire first. Not with a pill. Not with a supplement. With a hormone your own body produces, when you give it the right raw material. The hormone is adiponectin. In people with flat stomachs, adiponectin is high. It floods their muscles. It tells their liver to pull fat out of storage and burn it for fuel. In people with hard bellies, adiponectin is critically low, almost absent. The fire extinguisher is empty. The food that refills it is fatty fish, sardines, salmon, mackerel, anchovies. You are not eating this for protein. You are eating it for the omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, that directly stimulate adiponectin production. But there is a catch. You cannot swallow a fish oil capsule and call it done. Not while your kitchen is full of seed oils undoing the work from the other side. You need the whole food, the intact matrix of fat, protein, and micronutrients that your cell membranes absorb and rebuild themselves with. A capsule is a shortcut. Shortcuts do not rewire cell membranes. The protocol: 1 serving of fatty fish, 4 times a week minimum. For the strongest effect, a small portion every day. Not grilled chicken, not a protein shake, fatty fish. The oilier, the better. You are not adding a chore to your week. You are handing your body the one compound it needs to put out a fire that has been burning for years. The fire is out. The inflammation is cooling. Adiponectin is rising. Your fat cells are starting to unlock. But here's the problem. The fat has to go somewhere. It has to pass through your liver to be burned. And right now, your liver is clogged. The exit door is blocked with its own debris. Every gram of visceral fat that gets burned has to pass through one door, your liver. If that door is blocked, nothing leaves. You can put out every fire in the building. It does not matter. The hallway is stuffed with debris. Traffic cannot move. This is what happens when your liver is fatty. The medical term is steatosis. The real-world term is a clogged filter. Your liver is supposed to process fat, package it, and ship it out. But when the liver itself is swollen with fat, it cannot do its job. It is a shipping dock buried under its own inventory. To clear it, you need a compound called sulforaphane. It comes from one family of vegetables: cruciferous greens, broccoli sprouts, arugula, kale, watercress. Here's what sulforaphane does. Inside your liver sits a master switch called NRF2. When NRF2 is off, your detox system is asleep. Wand toxins pile up. Fat accumulates. The exit stays blocked. Sulforaphane walks in and flips that switch on. The moment NRF2 activates, it wakes up the cleanup crew, a set of enzymes called Phase 2 detoxification enzymes. Think of them as the team that shows up after a flood, They bag the debris, they strip fat off the liver cells, they package it for export, and they haul it out. The hallway clears. Traffic starts to move. But these greens do something else. They contain a molecule called DIM. DIM is the bouncer at the door. Your body produces estrogen metabolites, some good, some bad. The bad ones tell your body to store fat around the midsection. DIM grabs them and throws them out before they deliver that message. One specific detail: broccoli sprouts contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli. A small handful of sprouts does what an entire plate of steamed broccoli cannot. If you want to optimize, sprouts are the answer. If you want simplicity, any cruciferous green works. Eat them raw or lightly steamed. High heat destroys sulforaphane. The cleanup crew never arrives. Not a juice cleanse, not charcoal water, not a detox tea with a celebrity on the label. Actual vegetables. The boring answer is the correct one. The protocol? One generous handful of cruciferous greens every day. Broccoli sprouts if you want maximum impact. Toss them on top of anything. They do not need their own meal. They need your consistency. The fire is out. The hallway is clear. Fat is starting to move toward the exit, but your alarm system is still screaming. And as long as it screams, your body will keep slamming every door shut and rebuilding the barricade from scratch. Before we go further, let me clear 3 things you have probably heard and believed. Cardio burns belly fat. It does not. Cardio burns calories. Cortisol decides where the fat stays. If cortisol is high, the belly keeps every gram. Eating small meals throughout the day keeps your metabolism up. It keeps your insulin up. That is the opposite of what you need. Stress eating is the problem. Stress itself is the problem. The eating is just the symptom. Now, let us talk about the real architect of the hard belly. Cortisol, your stress hormone. It is not just a feeling, it is a chemical command. Here is the chain. When cortisol rises, it picks up a direct line to your liver. The message is simple. Dump glucose into the blood. Your liver obeys. Blood sugar spikes. Insulin rushes in to clean it up. And where does insulin put that sugar? Straight into the fat cells around your midsection. You have not eaten a single thing. It is 6 in the morning, and insulin is already elevated. Let that satisfaction land. This is why you can eat perfectly and still carry the belly. The food is not the trigger. The alarm system is. As long as your nervous system is stuck in low-grade panic, cortisol drips into your blood like a leaky faucet. All day, all night, even in your sleep. To shut this off, you need the mineral that controls the off switch: magnesium. Magnesium binds to something called GABA receptors in your brain. GABA is your brain's off switch for anxiety. Without enough magnesium, that switch is stuck. It will not turn. Your brain sits in a constant state of background noise. Not full panic, just enough tension to keep cortisol trickling. You feel it as restless sleep. As tight shoulders, as reaching for your phone at 2 in the morning for no reason. The food is pumpkin seeds, one of the most concentrated natural sources of magnesium on the planet. A quarter cup gives your brain the raw material to finally press the off switch. Not a meditation app, not a breathing exercise, a handful of seeds. But I want to be precise about what is happening here. You are not managing stress. Managing stress is a coping mechanism. You are giving your nervous system the one mineral it has been starving for. When GABA finally works, cortisol drops. When cortisol drops, insulin drops. When insulin drops, the fat cells around your midsection unlock. One mineral, 3 doors open. The protocol: a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds, every day, on a salad, in a handful between meals, blended into a smoothie. It does not matter how. It matters that you do. The fire is out. The hallway is clear. The alarm is finally off. Your body is starting to stand down. But every time you sit down to eat, there is a trap waiting. Glucose rushes in, insulin spikes, and the door slams shut again. You need something sitting inside the gut, catching that spike before it reaches your blood. Imagine lining the inside of your small intestine with a thick, sticky gel, a physical barrier between the food you eat and your bloodstream. Glucose hits that wall and slows to a crawl. Insulin barely moves. That is not a metaphor. That is literally what happens when you eat the right fiber. The food is chia seeds, or ground flax seeds. Both contain a specific type of soluble fiber, viscous, heavy, and aggressive. When these seeds hit water in your stomach, they expand. They form a gel so thick you can see it with your eyes. That gel coats the lining of your small intestine like a net stretched across a doorway. Now you eat carbohydrates. Rice, bread, fruit. It does not matter. The glucose molecules cannot rush through. They have to fight through the gel, one by one, single file. The flood becomes a trickle. Your blood sugar stays flat. Insulin stays low. The fat cell doors stay open. Same meal, same plate, same calories. Completely different insulin response. But the real power is not in the stomach. It is in what happens 6 hours later when that fiber reaches your colon. Your gut bacteria ferment this fiber. The product is a molecule called butyrate. This is where the language changes. We are no longer talking about individual nutrients. We are talking about a signaling network. Butyrate travels from your gut to your brain. The message, you are full. Stop eating. Butyrate travels to your liver. The message, increase insulin sensitivity. Accept glucose more efficiently. Butyrate reaches your mitochondria, the engines inside every cell. The message, burn cleaner, burn more. One molecule, 3 destinations, 3 commands. Your gut bacteria are running the control room. All you did was give them the fiber, not a supplement with 47 ingredients you cannot pronounce. 2 tablespoons, a glass of water, done. The protocol. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds or ground flax seeds, mixed in water or yogurt, once a day, 10 to 15 minutes before your largest meal, not after, before. The gel needs time to set. If you eat first and add fiber later, you missed the window. The sponge has to be in place before the flood arrives. 4 doors open. The fire is out. The hallway is clear. The alarm is off. The sponge is in place. Your body is finally running the way it was built to run, but there is one last lock. And this one controls a hormone most people have never heard of. The same signal your body uses during a 16-hour fast. You are about to trigger it with food. I told you at the beginning. Food number 5 activates the same fat-burning signal your body uses during a 16-hour fast, without skipping a single meal. Here it is, avocado. You probably expected something exotic, a rare seed, a high-dose extract. But the most powerful tool in this protocol is sitting in every grocery store, in every country, on every continent. And almost nobody understands what it actually does inside the body. Forget healthy fat. That is the surface. Underneath, avocado is a precision instrument for fixing a broken pump. Inside every cell in your body sits a gate. Potassium on one side, sodium on the other. This gate controls whether glucose gets in or stays locked out in the blood. When potassium is low, and in most people it is critically low, the gate jams. Glucose piles up outside. In reality, the pancreas sees the pileup and does the only thing it knows how to do. Flood the system with insulin. Force the glucose through. More insulin, more belly fat. The cycle repeats. An avocado contains more potassium than a banana, without the sugar, without the insulin spike that comes with it. Half an avocado a day unjams the gate. Glucose flows in smoothly. The pancreas calms down. Insulin drops, the belly loosens its grip, but potassium is only the first layer. Here's the second. Avocado is dense with oleic acid. When oleic acid reaches your small intestine, it triggers the release of a molecule called OEA, oleoethanolamide. This is the signal I promised you. OEA is not a nutrient. It is a command. It travels on a hardwired nerve, the vagus nerve, straight from your gut to your brain. 2 instructions. First, stop eating. You are done. Second, switch fuel sources. Stop burning sugar. Start burning fat. This is the exact same signal your body produces after 16 hours of not eating. The signal that flips the metabolic switch from storage to oxidation. Avocado triggers it after a meal, with food in your stomach, with zero hunger. Let that land. You are not eating a fruit. You are sending a direct command through your nervous system to start burning stored fat. Every other food in this protocol removed an obstacle. This one presses the accelerator. The protocol, half an avocado, every day, with a meal, not alone. You want the oleic acid to arrive in the small intestine alongside the other foods. The fiber gel slowing everything down, the omega-3s calming inflammation, the magnesium quieting the alarm. Together, they do not add up, they multiply. You now have all 5 keys. The fire extinguisher, the hallway clearer, the alarm switch, the sponge, and the master key that turns the entire system from storage to burn. Separately, each one helps. Stacked in one meal, they become something else entirely. Not a diet, not a restriction, a biochemical override. Picture the plate, a fillet of salmon in the center, omega-3s flooding your system, adiponectin rising, the fire going out, a bed of arugula and broccoli sprouts underneath, sulforaphane activating the cleanup crew, the liver clearing its backlog, the exit door swinging open, pumpkin seeds scattered across the top, magnesium reaching GABA receptors, The alarm finally going quiet. Cortisol dropping for the first time in months. A chia seed dressing drizzled over everything. The gel forming, the sponge locking into position, glucose slowed to a crawl before it ever touches your blood. Half an avocado on the side. Potassium unjamming the cellular gates. OEA traveling up the vagus nerve. The brain receiving a single clean command: stop storing, start burning. This is not a salad. This is a 5-layer intervention disguised as lunch. And every ingredient sends a different signal. The salmon says, stand down, the war is over. The greens say, clear the wreckage. The pumpkin seeds say, shut off the alarm. The chia says, hold the line. The avocado says, burn it all. 5 signals, 1 plate, no medication, no starvation, no willpower required. You do not need to eat this exact meal every day. You need these 5 compounds flowing through your system consistently. Rotate the fish, swap the greens, change the format. The molecules do not care what the plate looks like. They care that they are present. You are not following a diet. You are not restricting. You are not subtracting a single thing from your life. You are flooding your body with 5 chemical instructions it has been starving for. The body does not need less food. It needs better data. You walked into a building on fire. The hallways blocked. The alarms screaming. Every door locked from the inside. You put out the fire, cleared the wreckage, shut off the alarm, lined the walls with a barrier, and flipped the master switch. The fat has no choice but to leave, not because you starved it, not because you punished your body into submission, because you gave it 5 instructions it had been missing for years. This was never about eating less. It was never about moving more. It was about a body stuck in emergency mode with no one handing it the stand-down code. You just handed it the code. Your body is not broken. It never was. It was responding to signals. Inflammation, congestion, stress, glucose floods, mineral starvation. Every symptom made sense. Every response was logical. The body was not your enemy. It was a machine running the only program it had. You just changed the program. You are not someone who is trying another diet. You are someone who understands the system. Someone who knows which switches to flip, which doors to open, which signals to send. That is not a meal plan. That is a new operating system. But there is one factor that can undo all 5 of these in 48 hours. It is not a food. It is not a hormone. It is not something you eat or take. It affects 80% of the population, and almost nobody is talking about it.